last evening, I mean, some things happened down in Charlotte that about 10:30, and we met with our guys last night at 7:10, and then probably till 8:30, and you just think they probably did something very similar to what we did in our meeting, and then let the guys have dinner and probably rolled out of there. And what happened after that, I don't know, but I'm shocked, obviously. Don't even care to talk about that game. I think we just kind of put it aside. I'll answer any questions afterwards if you have to. But, our hearts and our prayers go out to the city of Charlotte, University of Virginia, Coach Tony Elliott and his football team that's got to be going through it right now. I can't imagine losing three guys in the room here, and can't even imagine what's going on down there. So it's unthinkable. You go from playing a football game to that. So again, our prayers go out to everybody down there that's involved in this, and it's sad. So move on to Duke, I guess. Again, got a good football team. Obviously, coach has done a great job there. Offense coordinator Kevin John's done a great job there as well. I had a lot of experience with him when you think about football games, and we played him a lot. I think the last time he was coordinating and working at Northwestern was in the Pinstripe Bowl. So we've gone back and watched that whole game. We got my last 2 years at Michigan State, played him when he was at Indiana. As the offense coordinator, receiver coach, quarterback coach, he's done a little bit of everything there. And obviously watched those games and pulled a lot of stuff, very similar stuff to what they're doing. And the same thing on defense. We got experience there too. So it's someone we haven't played before. They're a good football team. They're playing well. Move on. Questions?
Pat, does what happened in Charlottesville kind of put things in perspective about football and life?
Yeah, I mean it always does. I mean I think that's we talk about it all the time. It's more than just football. It's your faith. It's family and football. Football being last, and when you see something like that happen, it hits. I mean, we know it happens a lot more. With school shootings, wherever it is in Texas and Florida, right here at the synagogue in Pittsburgh, and then and then you just got done playing a football team, and the Davis kid, the big tall wideout that didn't play. I remember seeing him right after the game and shaking his hand and saying, "Hey, get healthy," But it's just it puts things in perspective.
Have you talked to your team since you found out about the incident?
No. Today's our kids' days off, and so Monday's a day off for those guys. They come in academically, but I haven't, I've talked to a few guys on the team individually, just as they're around the office this morning, but not as a team.
What will you tell them, or what will you address them on Tuesday?
I don't know. I mean, I'm just glad. I think as I walked in here, they got the guy, and obviously a former football player, but I don't know. Got time to think about that tomorrow morning.
Pat, you're a leader of young men. You often talk about trying to talk to them not just about football but about life. How do you even begin to address them when it's like they were just playing this team and some of the guys that they were just up against, something like that happens? That's tough to process.
Yeah, growing up, and maybe the same for you guys. Lost one player, after a workout in Northern Illinois. It doesn't happen very often in all my years. Lost my dad in '88. That was traumatic. And then you think about what Virginia football team's going through. That's a brother in that room, and it's just hard. I mean, you just can't even fathom that what those poor kids are going through. So it's tough, and that's what we talk about, being safe and being around the right people, and surrounding yourself with with good people. So it's unfortunate.
Pat, if we can talk about Duke. Obviously, really strong football team. They're kind of on the rise under Coach Elko. You talked a little bit about it on Saturday. What do you think could be attributed? What's the difference in seeing that team from last year to this year now?
You know what, quarterback, is playing at a high level. They're running the ball well. I mean, they like to run it. They're going to throw RPOs, so we're back into the RPO gang, which we haven't seen for a few games here. We've done a good job stopping it early, but they do a great job running the football. I think they're very sound on defense. They are going to make you earn it. They're not going to go crazy with something just out of the blue. So you're going to see a sound defense all day, with what they do, and they mix up their coverages. But they're going to run the football. I would imagine it'll be a short game. We're going to run it. They're going to run it, and two and a half hours later the game will be over. So by 3 o'clock you guys can be on your way, go see your wife and kids and your families. But so they like to run it. They're just a good football team. And again, Coach Cutcliffe's a heck of a coach, as we all know. I think Coach Elko's instilled some life into just different. Sometimes change is good, I guess. So they're just doing different stuff on defense, and they're having fun on offense, and they're really smart. They're going to come out. They're going to take all the play clock. They're going to take all the play clock. They're going to clap 3 or 4 times before they snap the ball. We got to make sure we don't jump off sides on the first clap, the second clap, or the third clap, and they're going to try to steal as many signals as they can to try to get them in the perfect play they possibly could.
We asked you, I think, last week, about some of the bigger surprises in the ACC. You talked about Drake May being, one of the bigger surprises as far as individual players. Would you say this Duke team is the biggest surprise as far as, achievement as a team as a whole and where they're at?
I would say no question. I mean, I'm putting my vote in for Coach Elko, Coach of the Year in the ACC. I think he's done a phenomenal job. First-year head coach coming from Texas A&M, and I've known him for a while. He's been in the ACC for a while. He was at Wake Forest prior to that. I mean, he's a great coach. He's old defensive guy, and they're tough. They're gritty. They're physical and play with an attitude right now. So we'll have our hands full Saturday.
Is Carson Van still there?
No, he retired. Saw him at Kenny's draft party. So he's great.
You say they're going to try and steal as many signals as they can. Is that something you've seen on tape or something?
Yeah, well, I just kind of know from the years, back to when I was a linebacker coach back in whatever it was at Northern Illinois. When we played Northwestern, he was there a long time ago. That maybe the masters of it. So we'll be very detailed and specific in what we do, how we do it.
That's not specific to Duke. Don't most teams try to do that?
They do, but they might be the masters of it. Let's put it that way. They might be the best at it.
Coach, this is an opportunity to recognize the seniors Saturday. What can you say about the senior class?
Whew, with COVID, sometimes I'm still trying to figure out who the senior class is, Larry. That's the first thought I've got. Like, who are they? Kids have options nowadays. Do I take my 6th year? Do I come back? We've got a great group of players. Whether they're seniors, whether they're going out or staying for another year, we'll eventually figure that all out. As always, it's an emotional day for the kids, their parents. And obviously the coaches. We love these guys. We coach them like our own children, and it's always sad to see a guy move on. Period. Whoever it is, and but it's life, and we'd rather go on that way. That's for sure.
When are you going to have that list?
I don't know. Maybe for the radio show for you on Wednesday or whatever day that we do that.
But that list isn't final, right? Like there's some.
There's never final. Nothing's final. It's like the COVID year. It'll start to be final once we get through that, whatever it is, another couple of years, wherever the COVID seniors and all that. Whenever the 6-year stuff's over, make it a little easier when you know.
Yeah, we'll start having those conversations until after the game.
Yeah. I'll try to have some conversations today, just try to figure out, hey, who's walking, who's not, who's going out there, who's not. So.
When Kalijah, when you were talking, I remember 2 years ago when Kalijah was coming up, you guys' system and being rotated into your defensive line. You talked about how he was just lightning quick, but you had to work on his fundamentals and his basics, so he could be a real weapon for you guys. Now you're lining him up everywhere on the defensive line. He has 3 sacks, and he's one of the top talked about defensive linemen. How have you seen him grow, and what's helped him polish his game to where he is now?
Kalijah's a worker. That guy just all he does is work. He shuts his mouth and he plays ball. He's always got a smile on his face. He's always happy, and he's always trying to get better. And Coach Partridge has done a great job. I mean, the guy, is always smiling and having fun and got a great attitude. And he's not like this. Some guys are like a yo-yo going, up and down. I mean, Jerry, you played with the yo-yo back in the day, right? Me too. Still do? Me too. No, I don't have the yo-yo. What's up, Rob? Long time no see. He's a guy that's like this all the time. And some of our best players are guys that are just steady. And if every player, every athlete could learn how to just be consistent in what they do every day, and he's just gotten better. I mean, the guy's a beast. He's a flat beast, and he was a beast Saturday, and he caused havoc in the backfield.
When I watched him, I was watching him back, and he beats you with his legs, beats you with his burst off the ball, but he also, if someone gets their hands on him, he's learned how to counter that a lot better. How much of that is from the work that he's done with Coach Partridge?
It's all. I mean, he's not been doing it on the side streets. I mean, he's getting it from Coach Partridge, and obviously he's ultra talented. I mean, he's a great football player. So I mean, he's got natural ability, and he's got a great coach.
You said after the game, you told the officials they can't walk 8 and 87.
I told him before the game.
Well,
Yeah.
you said it after the game.
Yeah.
Do you have conversations with officials
Every week.
before the
We
game?
can't block them, so just look for a thing called holding. But we don't get many of them, and you couldn't get them Saturday because whatever. But,
Those 3 senior defensive ends, I think, had maybe like 3.5 sacks for the first 8 games. They have 7 in the last 2. Are they just getting home? Are the plays just being made this time? Are they just healthy? What do you think has changed in the last couple of weeks?
I think it's, I told him last night, just, I think, some of the change in what we've done and how we've done it is, I think some guys, they press. You've heard me say that for 4 or 5 weeks, and again, I don't know if that's I mean, I don't know, but it just seems like, like John Morgan might have got one of the first sacks, and it looked like he was going to come under, and he's like, maybe I should stay up the field and contain this guy, and he gets a sack. But just doing your job and not trying to do too much, and I got to get sacks so I can go to the league and do all these things. I mean, once you're patient and you just play your game and trust the process, trust the defense, things like that happen. I think that's what we've seen the last couple of weeks. And again, with Riley Leonard this week, we're gonna, we better contain him because it's another athletic quarterback that, I don't know, rushing yards. I mean, where's he at here? Quarterback. He's the leading rusher. Okay, let's go again. 625 yards and 10 TDs rushing. And, he's the leading passer. He's thrown over 2,000 yards. So, again, we got another, not only, scrambler, he's really good at scrambling, stepping up, bursting out of the pocket, and then, designated quarterback runs probably, a dozen a game where it's going to be him carrying the ball, whether it's on a zone read keeper. So he's leading rusher again.
Last week when I asked you about Haba, you talked about how scouts are talking to you about the almost that he gets. The almost strips, the almost sacks, and all that. Do you guys evaluate those almost in a certain way or maybe in a similar way too?
Yeah, no doubt about it. I mean, most important thing is you have the ability to get there. Sometimes guys are going to make you miss. I mean, that's part of the game. I mean, you beat a lineman to get to the quarterback, and all of a sudden the quarterback's a real good athlete too. And, so you got to win twice. You got to, get there, and then you got to, but at least he's getting there. Some guys don't get there. So, to me, that's what, the NFL is going to be looking at is, does he have the ability to get there? That's the first thing. And then, they'll continue, you learn. And, he missed a couple last year as well. So it's no different. But sometimes they come, sometimes they don't. You can't worry about it.
Does John have to miss the first half?
I don't think so. Someone else asked me that question. I doubt it. I haven't even thought about it. Shouldn't have to. But maybe I got to check on that.
Seems like Bob has put together a couple nice games after starting the season a little bit slowly. What do you think has made him able to hit on some of those deep plays more often.
Yeah, I mean, he missed. He could have had another one, but he had 90 yards, and the first catch he had was exactly like we drew it up. I mean, it was perfect. I mean, I actually had it to him again. He didn't come down with the catch, but again, Bub is an unselfish guy. I mean, you say a couple weeks in a row. I don't think he had a catch the week before. Okay, but he doesn't care. He just keeps going to play, and sometimes they come to you, sometimes they don't. I mean, you don't know what the coverage is going to be when you line up with a certain formation and pass concept. So it's got to go where the coverage tells it to go, and where the quarterback's got to put it. So, but he's an unselfish guy that's had a great scramble in the end zone for a touchdown pass, and is just doing his job. And again, he's trusted the process, and good things happen when you do that. He hasn't got down like I didn't get any catches, but he was the same way. His very first scrimmage here, he didn't catch one ball. It was kind of like, God, we got to get Bub the ball. And he was like, Coach, I'm good. I understand. He gets it. So appreciate him understanding.